Want to do a quick audio check. Can everybody hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, thank you, Marcus.
I can hear you.
Perfect. I did not do slides for this meeting. So I'm going to point everybody to the agenda and notes, which are right here. Hold on a second. I'm on a little screen today. Like, wow, this is like a little small. Do you all have the notes? All right. So we will go ahead and get started. This is an official working group of the IETF. Dieter will be taking minutes. If you want to, the notes and the agenda are available at the link that I put into chat. Feel free to add to the notes, but please do it below the line that says put notes below here. So feel free to contribute and help get more into the minutes. With that, as a reminder, the note well of the IETF applies to this meeting as it does to all IETF meetings. This is the document by which all of the processes and procedures of the IETF are outlined, including things like the code of conduct and rules related to patents and participation. A few general admin notes. I have pointed you to the online notes tool. Please contribute to help ensure the accuracy and completeness of these notes. Please use the Q tool in the Meet Echo. Be clear, concise, and respectful, and act according to the IETF Code of Conduct. We have a fairly short agenda today. We have the agenda and administrative and agenda bashing. Are there any additional agenda bashes? I guess I should go through the agenda first. We have the working group status update, which is a review of our documents that are all beyond the working group at this stage. And then we have rough time, NTP v5, a quick 1588 update, and then a discussion on the hackathon and a way forward. Are there any additions to the agenda? Okay. With that, let's talk about our working group review. We've actually had a fair amount of progress in the last couple of months since we last met. We have the NTP registries RFC, which is RFC 9748, was published back in February. The designated experts have been named, which is Miroslav, David, and Christoph. So thank you to the three of them for volunteering to participate. And that the registry is now operational, which is a step forward. Also, RFC 9769 has been published, which is interleave modes. That was published in May of 2025. So congratulations to Miroslav, and thank you to everybody that helped get that document through. Oh, to Miroslav and Anchal, who hasn't been around for a little while. So that's a great accomplishment. We got that done. And then also, at long last, we had RFC 9760, which is the enterprise profile. So that has been published also in May of 2025. And with that, the NTP, the TikTok working group, has completed all of its work items and has been concluded. So the mailing list is archived, but there's no more work in that. As a reminder to everybody, the charter of the NTP working group was expanded to the charter of the NTP working group was made NTP network time protocols. And so further work on 1588 related things in the IETF will be done in the NTP working group. So that's the status of that document. And then NTP over PTP is progressing to the IESG. So those are the 4 documents that have gone past the working group at this stage. Any questions on any of those? Nope. It's been a fairly productive few months, which is great to get some things off our plate. Next up is the rough time document. We did have a working group last call. I believe all of the authors have addressed everything in the working group last call. Was there any, let's see, Marcus is on the call. I don't see Watson. Marcus, did you want to say anything about final updates you made to that document?
No, not really. We did have, so first of all, big thanks to everyone who read it. We had a couple of really important security issues that were highlighted and fixed. So that's pretty good. And I think we feel pretty confident in the current state of the draft.
Okay. I think at this stage, based on the results of the working group last call, we're ready to progress this document to the IESG. Does anybody disagree with that? Okay. Then we'll go ahead and move that to the IESG. Next up, sorry, excuse me. Next up on our agenda is NTP v5. There has been some progress and discussion on that. Miroslav, do you want to summarize where we are with that document?
Yes, there was some progress since the last upload. TAL has improved the abstract, the introduction, and the basic concepts, these sections. Yeah, I think it's nicely improving. There was a technical change. Recently, there was a suggestion to minimize the information in the request even further, and the poll value is now set to 0. The reference to the interleaved modes, to the NTP v4 interleaved modes, has been updated now that it's a RFC, and a few other minor fixes and improvements. There are some unresolved issues, and TAL has sent an email to the mailing list, and if there are any suggestions, that would be great.
Tal, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think the main issues that Miroslav mentioned are related to items from the NTP-v5 requirement document. And one of the things here was kind of a mapping between requirements from the requirement document to the functionality we have in practice in the NTP v5 spec. And in most cases, it's aligned. So we are already in almost in perfect shape. And there are two remaining open issues that I sent an email about this week. So there was a little bit of discussion on the mailing list about that. And if people have additional comments about these two issues, we can think about how to go forward with them. So other than these two issues, I think the requirement document is already aligned with the NTP v5 spec. So that was something we wanted to make sure in the last meeting we had.
Okay. The one issue that I was wondering about that I think we need to do some sort of a formal consensus call on is the algorithms. It's Harlan's discussion on the mailing list about whether or not the algorithms need to be specified or not. Because we've not because we didn't do a formal working group last call and publish the requirements document, I do think we're going to need to do some sort of a consensus call on that. Does anybody have any thoughts on how to proceed with that? Sal? Is that your previous hand being up? Oh, that's yeah, you got out of the queue pretty quickly on that one. I'm assuming everybody knows the issue I'm talking about. So do we have the hold on one second. Sorry about that, folks. Had a slight distraction here. Anyway, so nobody has gotten into the queue. Does anybody? I really would like some thoughts on this. So go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, I'll say something since no one else is.
Thank you.
Yeah, I followed the discussion, and even though I haven't been very involved in NTP v5 development, I feel that while Harlan may have a point, and that the system isn't sort of complete or fully working unless we specify the algorithms. The problem is that in the real world, we'll never be able to guarantee that someone is actually using a certain algorithm. There's going to be multiple implementations, and some of them are going to use other algorithms, even if we do specify them. So at best, we could probably make the implementations say what algorithm they're using. That's my 2 cents.
Ira.
Thanks, Karen. I was thinking about this after reading the latest thread and Harlan's comments. In SUIT and quite a few other IETF work groups recently, the base spec has been published separately from the document that's algorithm. In order that agility could be achieved for algorithms that get broken or damaged. This started thinking just about post-quantum stuff, which has certainly been gradual over the last 5 years, still is. But in SUIT for constrained devices, which to some degree is part of the client use of NTP, sort of a very careful look at algorithms that can change or have updated guidance for the use of algorithms every couple of years instead of every 5 or 10 years when we might revise the base protocol. That seems useful.
Yeah, I mean, way back when we chartered the work on RFC 5905, NTP v4, the original intention, and if you go back and look at the original documents, the original intention was to separate the protocol from the algorithms. And at the end of the day, Dave's Mills was unhappy with that and merged all of the stuff back together. But the reality is that's what PTP now, you could argue whether it is, it does add a lot of complexity to separate the algorithms from the protocol, but I feel like that's what's made it more flexible and able to adapt to different scenarios, different use cases. But I'm not saying the issue will go away permanently if we don't do a consensus call. I just am concerned if we don't document this decision in a very clear way, that we might have some issues. Dieter?
Yes, I agree. But I want to remind that in the beginning of the discussions of the requirements document, as far as I remember, we agreed that we want to have some kind of default algorithm in a separate document. So the point is this going to be needed parallel to the NTP version 5 specification? Or can we publish that later?
Miroslav, have you given any thought to how you think the algorithm should be documented?
I thought about it, but I don't know how that can be done. I think my position is clear. From my point of view, if we specify any algorithms, they can be always improved, and to me it seems that it would be slowing down the progress of the implementations. I don't know. One way I think for NTP-v5 would be to say that the implementations can use the NTP-v4 algorithms, and I expect that at least in the beginning, most implementations will do that anyway.
Okay, any other thoughts on, oh, I'm sorry, Christoph, I see you're in the queue. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would honestly doubt that we, strictly speaking, need an algorithm. I think the on-wire protocol is valuable, even if all it can do is, for one NTP server, measure the offset that the client has to the NTP server. That's already something. And if you do nothing further with that information in software, I think that's fine. I also like the suggestion of somehow referencing the NTP v4 algorithm as a default that would be usable if we feel that we need one.
Okay. Tal?
Yeah, so I think in the interest of making progress, I think it would be much preferred to separate the algorithm from the protocol, which is already the way that is currently being pursued. And if we look back at the history, there will probably be more than one algorithm in practice. So maybe it would be even better in this case if we could have multiple algorithm documents, but that would be, I think it would be best if it wouldn't be tied to the same schedule as pursuing the protocol, which is something that we can probably complete at a much sooner time than starting to work on an algorithm.
All right. I do think at the very, yeah, I definitely agree that they need to be separate. That's what I wanted originally. I don't think it needs to be tied to the publication schedule of NTP v5. I think we need to have something. We need to have a starting point somewhere. Go ahead. Do you have it? Sorry, Ira.
I agree with Cal and Karen. Of course, we need a starting point somewhere. And it doesn't have to be publication ready. There are examples in other standards bodies who never publish the algorithm document. It's a working document, living. But the thing I wanted to say about multiple algorithms and for different circumstances and deployment environments is that's exactly what the suit MTI algorithm spec has done, is to specify multiple signature and multiple encryption algorithms appropriate for use by different elements in the environment. The suit environment has proxies in the middle, so it's more complex. Still, there could be proxies, I suppose, in it. That's probably in any case. I think a quick working draft on algorithms that said for initial deployment of NTP v5, we recommend support for NTP v4 algorithms. Usage details. But I imagine that the IESG and that the wider IETF community is going to strongly urge post-quantum ability in NTP v5, and that can't be, if we put that into the main protocol spec, will be another 3 years doing it. So that's my concern there.
So just to make sure we're not talking about encryption algorithms here. We're talking about time synchronization algorithms, right?
Right. That it was
Okay.
Examples from suit.
Oh, okay. Because I was just thinking that
Sorry.
I think the community is more accustomed to thinking of multiple algorithms in the context of security than they are about thinking of multiple algorithms in the context of NTP, as far as specifications go. All right, Christoph.
Thanks. Yeah, I just noticed that I just did something that I criticized the communication in this group many times for. You asked a consensus question and I talked about technical details and didn't say anything about my consensus status. Yes, I absolutely agree that we want to separate the algorithms from the on-wire protocol. I think that's extremely important that we do it. And I agree with previous speakers that if we have to link to anything, then let's also be careful that we don't link to something that creates a dependency that could make this, that could just delay publication of this. Let's link to something that's already available if we have to do it. So that's why NTP before. But yes, I really want us to separate the on-wire protocol from any combination algorithms from anything that does set the clock. I think that's a good idea.
Right. I think that the question I wanted to the consensus call I wanted to do on the mailing list was it wasn't the question of how we would do it. It would be the question of, do we want to separate the protocol from the algorithms? Just because I would like to have that as a documented decision that we've done and we've moved forward on. Because I just think that might be better. Anyway, go ahead, Miroslav.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that, like you said, that PTP specifies some algorithms, but it doesn't actually specify the algorithms for synchronization of the clocks, right? Like those are specified in the PTP profiles, in some PTP profile. I think the core protocol specification only specifies the selection and other algorithms that are required for the PTP domain to not break apart. So in NTP, if we consider which algorithms are actually required for things to not break, that I don't see any actually. Like maybe the synchronization loop avoidance, that's already specified, but things like the source selection, I think, actually don't, if the client implements it incorrectly, thus doesn't work well, it will not affect anything except its own client, so the damage is not like spreading uncontrollably. Yeah, just a thought.
Right. I do think 1588 actually, the core specification does have a default profile in it. At least the 2008 version did, and I'm pretty sure the 2019 version does. I don't know that it's that widely used. I think most people are using the externally defined profiles, like the enterprise profile and telecom profiles, power profiles. But I think we probably could discuss a little bit more on the mailing list, what approach we would like and whether we need some sort of a default algorithm or not. But I haven't heard anything in the conversation today that says we don't agree that we want to separate the protocol from the algorithms. And I'm going to work with Dieter to do a consensus call on the mailing list, and I would appreciate folks speaking up on this issue. Tal, go ahead. Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't
just
see you
a
in the
comment
queue.
regarding the default profile in PTP. I think, yeah, the spec, I also remember it includes a default profile, but that doesn't include any algorithmic aspects to the best of my knowledge. I think it only includes some specific protocol modes which are used in the profile. So still, if we're looking for algorithmic aspects, I think in PTP it was intentionally left to the specific implementation. And I think, again, it looks like from all the people who spoke here, it looks like the separation between algorithm and spec seem to make sense. In my opinion, the question is whether we want to look into specific algorithms. That's the way I saw it, at least.
Yeah, I do think that's the real question for the working group. I'm just concerned that reading over the recent mailing list traffic, we have a long history of not resolving issues and moving on, and they keep coming back and coming back. And so I feel like we have working group consensus on this issue, but we haven't documented it formally, and we didn't publish, we haven't done like a working group last call on a requirements document that we can point to. And so this has been a very useful conversation. But my real point here was basically dotting the I's and crossing the T's. We need to make sure that the whole working group understands that we're doing this and the decision has been made. Yay, verily move forward. So I definitely want more discussion on the ways to do it, but I do think we need to just document that basic decision to try and I would like to have a consensus call on the mailing list, responses to that, and then a conclusion to the consensus call by us, by the chairs, so that we can point to that in the future when the topic comes up again. If that makes sense. All right. Is there anything else on NTP v5 for today? No. All right. I'll give a quick 1588 update. Let's see. David is not here. I see that Rainier and Martin are here. So if I miss anything significant, please feel free to speak up. The security working group has been struggling in the last few months, but I think we're at the stage where we're beginning to figure out a way to get to a consensus on the NTS, on the improvements to the base specification for 1588 to fix the vulnerabilities that were identified by David Van Hook. And then in addition to that, once that's done, then there's the specification of NTS for PTP. I don't know, Martin, if I did not put, and I didn't even put NTS for PTP on the agenda this time. I wonder why I didn't do that. I don't know, Martin, if you want to say anything or if you.
So, hi. Yeah, currently we have different discussions about the replay protection, so how handling the sequence numbers, how doing different parts to secure the PTP packets. We have different solutions, and currently we have to discuss how we will further, how we can proceed further. So I want to compare different solutions based on the replay protections to move forward, and then hopefully we can achieve some kind of agreement to proceed further in the procedure.
All right. I feel like we're on the brink of resolving this logjam. It's actually meeting today. The PAR for the 1588 security work is before NESCOM this week, and it should be approved hopefully today. And with that, we ought to start making decent progress there. The CSPTP work is ongoing in 1588. I've told you all about that last time, and it's a client server PTP. It's kind of like a PTP Lite, and that work is. They're working on the initial starting proposal. The decision has been made to go with one of the several approaches that were put forward, and the initial proposal for that is in the works by that team. Also, the other big thing is they're doing a roll-up, which will roll up all of the existing amendments because we're not allowed to do any additional amendments until we've done a roll-up of all of the ones that have been done since the 2019 publication. Any questions on the progress of 1588? Nope. The last thing that we have on the agenda, we had originally planned to do a hackathon in Madrid. Europe it tends to be a good venue for doing time-related hackathon activities because a lot of you are in Europe. But I know that the NTS material is not really ready to proceed. I don't know if there's anybody besides Miroslav really working on an NTP v5 implementation. Is there anybody? So I'm not convinced it makes sense to do a hackathon activity in Madrid. I don't know how many of you plan to be there in person. Crickets. All right, well, we will try to target Montreal in November. I think that might be our, go ahead, Benson.
So it's possible to do stuff remotely for the hackathon if it's mostly just testing and then giving kind of a report. But of course, it's always great if there are people there, but some would just do everything remote also.
Actually, it's absolutely possible to do remote. And in fact, I know like Miroslav, for example, has always been remote so far. It's just useful to have at least one person or two people in person. And I do know Heiko was planning on coming. So it could be, we could have, I think it would be possible to have an NTP v5 project. I was hoping for an NTS project, but I don't know if that'll necessarily work. But is there anybody here that's implementing NTP v5 or NTS? No. Well, I know that, oh, go ahead, Martin.
Well, yeah, I'm working on my NTS implementation, but currently it's not final and not ready for testing. So therefore, this is the reason why I'm not available in this hackathon. Maybe it's in the next one, hopefully, but currently it's not finished.
Yeah, one of the things is that, well, I know like a lot of times David is actually doing code development at the hackathon. So I don't think you need a complete implementation. That's a sort of a misconception. You need a complete implementation to participate. You might actually be working on an implementation and then you could test or discuss it with others, but there's a certain critical mass of, that need a few people at least. But I understand you're not coming to Madrid, so that might be a little more challenging.
At least I need a specific state to have to make it reasonable to test. So this is one reason.
All right. If I'll check in with David to see if he's planning to be around at all. Martin, do you know if, not Martin, Miroslav, do you know if you are going to be available that weekend? If we do any sort of testing with NTP v5?
Still not sure. I could be, but probably only for a few hours.
All right. Let me check in with David.
There was some discussion about the NTS for PTP hackathon?
Oh, yeah, that was what we were just discussing with Martin, and
Okay, yep.
I'd be interested if anybody had any NTS for NTP work ongoing as well. That would be useful. But the NTS for PTP is not ready to go because of the discussions we've been having in 1588. All right. If anybody else is, if anybody is aware of anybody who's implementing NTS for NTP or NTP v5, either of those two, if they could put them in touch with us, that would be really helpful. All right. So with that, we are at the end of our agenda. Is there any more questions or comments? All right. And with that, we will have an NTP meeting in the context of the Madrid meeting. And I don't know when it'll be scheduled yet. The draft agenda comes out this week, and then it can still change for another week or two. So once we find out when that is, I will get back in touch with you all. And that'll be our next meeting. All right. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Rainer.